So begins another edition of Angela's Homeschool, where learning is fun, creative, and productive. So we have another podcast that we're doing right now, and it's on curriculum choices. I'm going to do a series of these podcasts because I just tried to do one, and honestly, I couldn't condense it down, and I was always meandering to one curriculum and then the other, because this is all so important when you become a home educator. Now, our journey, to be quick, is I had one child that was in public school. I had to pull her out of public school because she had been physically assaulted, and they would not release her from the hospital until I withdrew her from the public school because they said that she would not survive the school. It was that bad. So our journey was not because of faith, but out of necessity. And it brought our family closer together in faith and in love and in loving kindness. We've learned to do so many wonderful things. We have sacrificed together. We have learned together. And I have to believe that makes my children better people for having more character. So that's been our experience. Let's talk about curriculum. So you become a homeschool educator. You're a home educator, teacher, whatever label you choose to put on it. You will not be limited by curriculum in this day and age. Now, back in the 70s, it was a very hush-hush thing, and there weren't very many curriculums, but there was a Becca. It started in the 70s. I had actually met up with a woman who was one of the first editors of a Becca curriculum. I mean, I was jaw-dropped. She wanted one of the first editions, and my friend had a first edition in her store of a Becca curriculum. What is a Becca curriculum? Now, when you first become a home educator, it can be overwhelming. You know, you have to learn what type of learner your child is or might become if it's a child that is a toddler. You can learn a lot by observing. Let's look at a Becca. If you look at the teacher plan for a Becca, it'll have lesson 121. And it'll tell you, not word for word, how to say things, but it'll say, have student recite page 121 of whatever reading material it is at the time. And Becca has their curriculum all interfaced. Their reading comprehension is interlinked with their grammar. They're both talking about the same thing in the same lesson. So it's very important to keep every lesson the way it's written, because the child will gain more knowledge if you follow the lesson plan. Some people do not like to follow the lesson plan. Some people are unschoolers. They rely heavily on the libraries and real world experience. You know, they travel around a lot more. They do more of that, you know, finding history, being there as history happens. You know, not only just talking about the Grand Canyon, but they'll go there. Maybe they'll camp out for a week or two in a neighboring place. I mean, there's lots of things you can do. So we've talked a little bit about Becca. It's really good if you're first starting out in your home educator career. It's a great curriculum. And it's reasonable. It's reasonable. And sometimes you can get them used or secondhand. Perhaps it did not work for another family, and they had only used a week of the material, the workbooks, and so forth. Let's go on to Bob Jones. Now, Bob Jones is very visual. It's a curriculum that's once again been around maybe from the late 70s, early 80s. And Becca and Bob Jones test out their curriculum. They don't just write it and put it out there like some people have, but they test it out in a school, in a classroom setting, usually 19, 18 kids, that type of setting. So it's written for a classroom. Some private Christian schools use a Becca or Bob Jones. That's quite common, because they're dependable curriculums, well-versed. For me, I think the Becca math is a little bit more challenging than Bob Jones. I mean, to me, that's just a fact. I have taught college algebra in a classroom setting at a college level at a university. So I'm very proud of that. It was a learning experience for me at a very young age. I was just 19 when I did that. And mathematics is a strong point of mine. And I really enjoy watching my children learn about mathematics, that it's more than just a number. It's a concept. That should be a curriculum. Math, it's more than just a number. I love that. Okay, going on. We're talking about math. That kind of leads me into Saxon Math. Saxon Math is a well-known feature for most homeschoolers, past and present. Saxon was written by an Oklahoma teacher who was in the public school and did not agree with the math curriculum that was being taught. She said, I can teach them better. I'm going to write a curriculum that is easy to use for teachers and easy to learn, but yet effective for students. I love Saxon Math, but we got a but here. There's something you need to be aware of. In Saxon, it will again, with each lesson plan, tell you exactly what to do. And every Saxon week in the lesson plan, they're introducing 1 to 2 new ideas, techniques, things that the child has to learn in order to go on to the next level. You have to make sure that your student learns those 1 to 2 principles, techniques. They have to learn that in order to go on to the next level. If they don't, maybe they'll get a 90 on their quiz or their homework for that particular week because they have not gotten a grasp of that idea. And the next lesson, not only do they not know those 2 things, but there's 2 more things. And the grades start to go down. The child does not feel accomplished because the teacher is not making certain that they learn. You have to make certain and keep on top of it with Saxon Math, or the child will feel frustrated and they will not learn. I can't stress that strong enough. So if you think you can't keep on top of it for a Saxon lesson to make sure your child is learning those 2 new ideas that they're introducing, then maybe you need to go to Math UC. Math UC tells you what to say statement by statement. You'll have their, say to student, and then it'll have the what they want you to say. Today we are going to learn about fractions. It says it statement by statement. It's a long teacher's book, I might add. But if that makes you feel more comfortable, then do that. Also, I like, though Saxon has manipulatives to go with their curriculum, I like Math UC's curriculum because it's more conceptual. I think students today and in the past have always learned conceptually. Most of math is rote memory as it's done today. And then new math, a lot of Greek grouping and, place value is very important. I can talk about simple math as well. Simple is spelled S-E-M-P-L-E, math. Simple Math. Her last name is Simple, spelled that way. And it stresses place value. Again, I think one mistake home educators or teachers make is that they do not stress or put enough emphasis on placement. Where the ones belong in the ones and tens and so on. It causes problems of long division down the road. So it's very important when they're learning to add 20 plus 15 or 320 plus 120 that they learn to put numbers in the correct place. Very important. I think some people that struggle with math today, had they had a better effective teacher on place value, they would not have the problems with math that they have today. I honestly do believe that. And also in talking about math curriculums, I want to stress that this goes into engineering, the engineering fields. If you have a child that thinks conceptually, engineering might be a good place for him or her. There is a high demand for women engineers today. You can get a lot of scholarships. The civil rights movement includes women. I want you to remember this. The possibilities on salary are very fruitful for engineers. I've gone to teaching seminars that were sponsored by our local school district. As a home educator, I've been able to learn how to teach different engineering concepts more effectively and put more of an emphasis on learning about engineering. In our state, we have some good programs at Oklahoma University, Tulsa University, and Oklahoma State University. There's some wonderful programs for women or men that are wanting to specialize in engineering, all different types of engineering. You would not believe the possibilities. I could do another podcast on that, and I think I will. But oh my gosh, I have so much to talk about. And I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes, so it's not a long time for you to listen to. So let's go back to that first-time home educator who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I've seen them. We run Book Benevolence, where we give away free curriculum or anything that can be used to educate a child, be it a whiteboard, reading books, posters, manipulatives, of course, curriculums, just all different things that can be used to educate a child. We give it away every third Saturday of the month, and this is in the Tulsa area. Contact me for further information, and I'll be happy to give you directions. And it's for homeschoolers, so for homeschool families. We all have to help each other. I mean, that's just the way the world goes, and it instills character into our children. We are a Christian-based group. If you would not find the item that you want to donate in a church, if people would be embarrassed to find it in a church, more than likely it's not a good item to donate. And it has to be usable. It cannot be 2/3 written in, per se. We appreciate the thought, though. We also work with another organization, and it is called, my friend helps run it, and it's used for missionaries, preachers around the world. Perhaps they do not have the money to buy the homeschool material. They're in a different country, say in South Africa, or I don't know, just all these different. Honduras, we gave away a classroom-sized Saxon first grade and second grade, and all of their students were at that level or below. So I was very happy to give a classroom-sized Saxon curriculum to them, so it would be used effectively in their country. And they were blessed, very blessed. Great Christian family, great Christian school in Honduras. Book Samaritan. You can find them online. Book Samaritan, I believe it's .org, because they are a nonprofit organization. They have a lot of donations, a little bit different than we do. And we work with one another. We're not that far, just about an hour away from each other. But I'm always happy to support them. So you're a first-time home educator. You get overwhelmed. Perhaps you come to a place like mine, Book Benevolence, that I work with many others to make it a success. And I see the look. They look overwhelmed, a little bit stressed, not sure where they're supposed to go. I tell them to grab a box, and they explain to me, I haven't done this before. I don't know if I can do it. Can I do it? And I look at them and I say very slowly, because I've been in their shoes, yes, you can do this. You can do this. And I get more enthusiastic as I say it again and again, and you can see the stress melting off of them, and I start educating them about different curriculums. We walk around the area, the bookcases, the boxes of donations that had just come in, and explain to them different things. If they have a visual learner, Bob Jones is great. Abeka, is a trusted curriculum. Trusted curriculum. Bob Jones is also sold in the Mardell bookstores. Great source. So oftentimes the Abeka representative only comes around twice a year, and then you have to order from him or online. But it's a lot better to be able to see the curriculum in your hand, brand new, package, ready for your family. There's just so many different ones. Just thinking, there's Students in Language series that is great for a child that has ADD, dyslexic, autistic, the child with some learning challenges. They learn differently, and that's okay.